Hello everybody, it is Sunday. It is a football Sunday. It's the second week of the NFL season. I missed the first week because I was at the Baltimore Comic-Con. So today's my first day of real football. Or I should say working with football. We watched the Eagles game at the Pratt Street Ale House across from the convention center last week, and we had lunch there, and they were playing the Eagles game, so we saw part of that. And then Thursday we watched the Eagles play, and oh gosh, I can't remember who the Eagles played. But that's because it's the Eagles and I'm not an Eagles fan. And the Stippling is, so watched it with her. And, I watch it because of it's football, plus also it's for me, it's one of those where it's I got a chance, we got to spend some quality time, plus I curled up on the couch with the dog, and the dog's getting old. So it's one of those where it's there's not going to be many days left where I'm going to be able to curl up with a dog before she has to cross over that rainbow bridge. So it was a good game. I'm pretty sure they won. But like I said, it's the Eagles. But I want to go back to last week with my thoughts of last week at the Baltimore Comic-Con. One of the great experiences I had, or memorable experiences I had, was talking to Mark Waid. Now, Mark Waid is anti-Comicsgate, okay? But does that mean I should boycott him because I don't like what he says in his feelings? No. I mean, he's still a good writer, people. He's still a good writer. So I went up to him, and one of the books I had him sign was Action Comics issue 641. And when I showed it to him, he was really surprised. And he was like, "Oh, wow." He goes, "I don't really get many people ask me to sign these books." And we got in a discussion how it's I thought it was his fourth or fifth job working for DC. He goes, "No, this is my third." So, and I was like, "Well, I'm not going to doubt you. I thought that's what it showed on Mike's Amazing Comics." And he was like, "Oh, I'll have to check that out and let them know if they're wrong." But he knew that was his third job. And when I looked today to confirm my information before doing this video, it's now listed as the third. So whether I was wrong or they were wrong, I don't know. But it's beside the point. The point being is that how he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't get many people asking him to sign that book. So he was really surprised. And I mean, that was one of his first jobs, and it was only a 7-page story. And he told a good story. It was just a simple murder mystery with the human target. And he just had to tell a basic story. He didn't have to reinvent the wheel like so many of these writers think they have to do. They have to reinvent the wheel. No, Mark Waid was just wanting to tell a basic story. And it was a simple story where how the human target was able to determine that who the killer was the difference between uses matches and a lighter, and that's how he's able to. And it was just a simple story, but it stood out, and it showed how how Mark had 7 pages, even as a green writer, and he was able to tell a good, decent story. Whereas some of these artists, and I said to him how you told a good story in only 7 pages. And how some of these writers, they're given 22 pages and they can't even write a good story. And he kind of just gave me a smile. He didn't necessarily agree with me, but he gave me a smile. Yeah, you're right. There's writers out there that you give them 22 pages and they can't even tell a story. And heaven forbid you got these artists now, or the writers now, where they're expected to do 5 issues so that way they can have as a trade paperback, and they still can't really tell a really good story, or they stretch it out. you got to, and then that's where it's like, as a writer, you got to look at like what your page constraints are and plan accordingly to it. He had 7 pages, so he knew, okay, I could tell a story telling this, this, and this. No, I don't have this page. I don't have the real estate for that. This is how many pages I have. This is the story I'm going to tell. So, and whereas like I look at it really, especially now, with having, and this is where again, where you could tell me one of my bones, I guess you could say, is how you have these writers and they're given, okay, you got 5 issues to tell this story, and they only need, let's say, 3 issues. So they draw it out. And it's like, you don't need to necessarily draw it out. Let the artist have let them have their real estate to show their artistic muscle. Okay, have a page. And instead of having like a fight scene or something where it's like they have it squeezed in like 7 panels, just make it like 2 panels on the page. Okay, I need a splash page of the fight, and I need a inset panel of someone reacting to the fight. That's all you need sometimes. Because remember, this is the thing that really pisses me the hell off, is comic books still, even though they don't push the artists anymore as superstars, which they should be doing, okay, it's still a visual medium, which means you gotta give the artist the real estate they need to really flex their muscles. And instead of having like, save the like 7 or 8 panels for when you do your talk scenes. And if you're going to have a book that's heavy in the talk scenes, you got to make it interesting for the artist, because eventually you're going to see artists, they basically just go, oh, I got to do this again, and you can almost tell that they're bored and they don't really push themselves. But I mean, I look at that whereas like that's the fault of the editor, not holding the writer and the artist to task to do the best that they possibly can. It doesn't matter whether they're making $5 a page or $500 a page. The editor needs to have the ability to push them. And when I saw Mike Finn, he gave a lot of credit to Mark. He was also sitting at Mark Waid's table when I saw him. And he gave Mark Waid a lot of credit for how well the book came out. And yeah, I mean, you take a look at me. The pages, the page turns, a lot of it of how the pace in the story was. I don't know how much input Mark Waid was giving on that, but I mean, the Liberty Brigade turned out really good. So you have to give Mark Waid his due. I know yesterday I kind of blew over it, but now as I'm thinking about it, I was like, yeah, Mark Waid gave his input to make the book the best it could be, and it was. I mean, I still hold that up against so many books, independent or mainstream, that are coming out, and it holds up to be superior to them. So, other artists I talked to in regards to Liberty Brigade, of course, was Barry Keatson. He had literally just that day handed pages off to Mike Finn. Caitlin had to help him with gathering some stuff because he had to leave early. So she's helping out with that. And Caitlin is associated with Barry Keatson. Whether she is his wife or girlfriend, I don't know. I'm not going to make any judgments. All I know is that she's always there at the show. And when you go to have a book signed by Barry Keatson at his table, if he's working on a piece of artwork, don't go up and shove a book in his face and ask him to sign. Okay? If you do, and he's not, and at the time he's not signing, you will face the wrath, and I mean the wrath, of Caitlin. Okay? So whenever you do, if you want to piss off Barry, you can piss him off. But don't piss off Caitlin. You'll regret it. So, another artist that associated Liberty Brigade that I talked to and had him sign one of the books was Mark Buckingham, and he was also one. I was like, oh, I'm so glad you brought that up for me to sign. And he's got, I think he's got like 5 or 6 pages in the upcoming Liberty Brigade book. So again, I'm always interested and always wanting to meet these artists that are taking part in the book. And whenever the opportunity arises, I'll have an artist sign one of the books that they worked on for Liberty Brigade. Now, artists that I don't even approach are like Scott Hanna. He did great work on the pages. They're like the 2 pages he worked on. But Scott Hanna charges $20 a signature. So for me, it's one of those. It's like I'm not going to have you pay. I'm not going to pay $20 to have you sign 2 pages of $20 just because you did 2 pages of work on it. So, but you know what I should be doing is I should be taking them up to these artists that charge like a lot of money, and just simply show them the page and how you liked it. I mean, maybe they will sign it for free. I don't know, because you gotta keep in mind, part of it is you just gotta show your enthusiasm. The flippers in the industry have really like soiled the attitudes of these creators, and I understand it, but it doesn't hurt. That's the reason why they really are appreciative when you come up and you know your stuff when you're thanking them for the book that they're working for, that they participated in. Sorry about the intermission here from inking, but I have to clean the nib. Also, we'll use this intermission to tell you guys, please like and subscribe to my channel so you can see more Stippling goodness. I post a video every single Saturday and Sunday, and I do time-lapse videos. I post every single Saturday and Sunday also. So please check them out. Like I said, subscribe. If you like it, share it out, and don't be shy. Send me a comment. One person with the Stippling videos, the time-lapse videos, said that the videos would be much better if I included music. So I gotta look into what some YouTube videos on how to add music to my time-lapse videos. So if it'll make them better, I should be doing it. So let me know, okay? So nobody gets better from silence. So, and then I'm also another artist that I enjoy everybody, and I encourage everybody to go see is Kevin McGuire. Kevin McGuire always has, you know how he did the group shot of his first issue of Justice League, and if you follow his work, and you follow him on like Instagram and Facebook, you'll see that he does a lot of images like that. I remember when after the first Avengers movie came out, he did the Avengers in that pose, and he's always got a new one each year, or a couple new ones each year at the show. This year I got the one he did of the Universal monster films. One of the ones that I got years ago that I still like so much is when he did the Doctor Who one of all the 13 Doctors. I really like that one. I've had that one for years. When I have the space, I'm definitely going to be framing that print up to put up in my man cave. I think I got about 4 prints of his that I'm looking forward to framing and getting put up in my man cave. So, in fact, we are such Halloween fans that our house is already decorated for Halloween. So I think what I'm going to have to do is get the Universal Monster one, get that one framed, so we can have that one hanging in the house during the Halloween season. So I think that would be very fitting for our home decor. But yeah, it's one of those deals where when you go to these shows, okay, what you get out of it talking to these creators is what you put into it. And you have to understand also, some of these creators, they're true introverts. They're true introverts, and it's fortunate they're successful because you can tell that they in some ways they're awkward communicating to the fans. Perfect example is Adam Hughes. He doesn't talk a lot to the fans when you have him sign books. In fact, I was standing in line for Art Adams on the first day on Friday, and I was talking to the guys in line, and the one guy was saying how, like, yeah, he went and had Adam Hughes sign some stuff already, and how it's like, yeah, he didn't talk to me. And I'm like, that's the standard Adam Hughes experience. Adam Hughes, he doesn't really do a lot of talking. He'll spend more time talking to the person who's working the booth for him, or Allison. I've had more interaction with Allison, his wife, than with him. And so I think it was like later that day, as the show was ending, I was leaving at the same time as Allison and Adam was. And Adam wanted to take the escalator up, but the escalator on the one side was down, so he walked to the other side. Well, Allison was like, I'm already here, I'm gonna walk up the stairs. So I walked up the stairs with Allison. I was telling her about that experience, and I was like, that's a standard experience. She was like, yep, that's it. And she goes, now today was kind of different because he had some drinks with lunch, and she goes, he was very talkative after lunch, and the line really slowed up. And I was just like, yep, that sounds like it. Now I know he, for me, he didn't share 2 words with me. I had him sign when he got his start, he was doing the Maze Agency, and so I had him sign the last of those. I had like 2 issues signed already, so I had the other 4 signed, and he was deadpan expression, just signed them and kind of looked up at me like, okay, we're done. I'm like, and it's what I expected. It's a standard Adam Hughes con experience, and that's how it is. And I don't hold anything against him. That's just how he is. I know that from talking to other people, how, like, if he's talking to other pros, he opens up. A lot of times with the fans, he's very, very stoic. But it's what you expect from him. So, but okay, guys, I want to change gears. Okay, and one of the things I've been doing for my own personal enjoyment lately is I've been watching a lot more LawTube, and the Depp Heard trial, okay, we almost all of us watched it, and here's the thing, they just like a month and a half, 2 months ago, at pretty much the anniversary of the Depp Heard trial, they released the sidebars. For like whenever they're like so let's say a witness is being questioned and the opposing side says objection because they object to what's being said, to how the question is being asked, and sometimes the judge will be like, okay, sidebar, and they go up front. The judge turns on the white sound machine so the gallery can't hear what's being talked, and they'll discuss what the objection is, the point of contention, whatever it might be. And Legal Vices is doing a table read of a movie or of a play of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp sidebars. And when he first started, he was kind of doing it on his own with like one other person streaming with him. But now it's one of those where it's like he's got it zeroed in that like Legal Vices, he does the Elaine lines. Chandler Remington, she was doing Judge Escarado, but mainly what she does now, she does like the female voices, primarily Vasquez for the Johnny Depp team. Megan Fox, she does Judge Escarado, and she does a great job doing Megan Escarado. And then I know I'm pronouncing the name incorrectly. I'm sorry. It's Escarada or Escarado. I can't remember what it is. Everybody calls her Judge A. Okay. And then Aussie Overlord, he does a lot of the miscellaneous male voices, whether it be Rottenburn or Chew. So he does those, and then he tries to put a southern flair to the voice, like oh no. or he puts on a squeaky like "You're in winner." So he plays it up with different voices, and they do, like I said, they read it as a table read, and it is hilarious. It is hilarious. I enjoy it so much. So if you ever have a chance, go over to Legal Vice's channel, and it's called the Depo Sidebars, and they're numbered. And what really makes it really nice about these sidebars is they're not doing like a 5-hour stream. They're just doing about 2.5 hours of streaming, and they're really good. And it just gives, that way you're not overloaded, and those guys can they can cut out a reasonable period of time, or dedicate, I should say, a reasonable period of time to do the show. And they do a very good job. In fact, they've even gotten to the point where like all 4 of them, while the show's going, they'll change their backgrounds. Their digital background is a courtroom. So it actually increases that feel of it being in a courtroom almost. It's very good, very entertaining. I would encourage anybody, just for basic entertainment, to read them. And I'm sure there's somebody eventually, is what they're going to do is they're going to take the already videos out there of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and when they do a sidebar, they're going to then overlay those guys doing the voices. I think that would be even hilarious. And somebody's going to do it eventually. So, but no, definitely check it out. Now, another thing also with, I know this isn't really comic book related, and this is like kind of like a comic book show, but I've really gotten into these LawTube shows and watching these court streams, because of the fact that you learn about our legal system and your rights. That's the important thing, is you really learn and discover your rights as an American citizen, and how, in many ways, how you're taken advantage of by not knowing what your rights are. And there's a case coming up. It's in Moscow, Idaho. The suspect, Brian Kohlberger, he is on trial for killing everybody in a house, and like a college dorm house, like off-campus housing. He is on trial for killing his roommates, or the housemates, whoever we'll discover in the trial. But his attorney is fighting for cameras not to be in the courtroom. I disagree with that. I don't look at it necessarily from the aspect of my entertainment. Okay, I really I thought about it, and the reason why it's so imperative that we have cameras in these courtrooms is because you think about it. Okay, the one thing that our country has that no other country in this world has is our Declaration of Independence and our right to a fair trial. Okay, and when you see how when you get these LawTube shows with lawyers or personalities from other countries, and they talk about, like, no, you don't understand. We don't have these rights. What you are witnessing that you are taking for granted, we don't have that at all. I mean, you hear when Michael Bancroft, how like sometimes he's talking on his show, and he's like how people in Australia will be like, no, what do you think this is? Is America? You don't have those type of rights. And I think it's really important that we allow these courtrooms to have these cameras in them to show the rest of the world how free our country is through our legal system, and how the whole point of our legal system is you can't just be blindly accused, you have to back it up with facts. So you take a look at how like even the media is getting it wrong now, with the Depp Heard, and how it came out and they're like, oh, this is so wrong, they didn't take this. And it's like, did you watch the court case? Because we did. And in the beginning, it was when everybody was saying, this is a good defense that Johnny Depp's putting up, his legal team's putting up, there's no way in hell he's going to win. To then hear these lawyers by the end of the trial, before it went into deliberation, going to him, I think they won. I don't know if he's going to win, but if I was on that jury, I think I would be siding with Johnny Depp on it, with how they presented the case and the facts that they provided. I mean, especially when Vasquez in the old closing, when she was doing her almost her closing arguments with Amber Heard on stand, and she showed her a picture, and then showed her another picture, and goes, "It's the exact same picture." How they were falsifying images and evidence to make it sound like it was worse than it actually was. So, and again, having oh, isn't that illegal? It's it's hard to. You can impeach a witness on the stand. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be going to jail, but by impeaching the witness, you impeach all the information they provide. So it discredits that information that might be integral to the case. And of course, more importantly, something that has been seriously brought up is we have rights, and you can't violate our rights. Okay, just as how sometimes these lawyers will try to get tricky with these lights, try to trick a person to saying something, and nope, that's violating their rights in this part and just listening to the commentator explain how no, this is why what they're saying is illegal or wrong. Okay, it has nothing to do with your feelings. It has to do with the facts, and that's really important. That where you can be held accountable in other countries under trumped up charges, in the United States, you have to back up those accusations. So, like I said, I really think that it's important for us as a country, not necessarily for my entertainment or a lot of people's entertainment, but for showing the rest of the world what the United States has that other countries don't have. Which can arguably why there's so many people trying to get into our country, legally and illegally, because of those rights that they do not get in other countries. And you got to keep in mind, I'm sure if other countries allowed cameras in their courtroom and we saw them, we would be able to really see, and I could very be wrong, there could be instances of court cases in other countries where they allow the cameras in. And I would actually like to see that, so have the American lawyer critique a case in our country and say, okay, they can get away with it in this country, but in our country, this, and what. That is a great tool to show how great our country is. And when you have so many people that are trying to bring down our countries with the premise that we're bad because of this, that, and the other thing, so it's no, when you look at our legal system, you look at these court cases, flip the script. What if it's the other side that's under these charges? It's imperative that they have the right for the defense to be able to prove their innocence. So I am a strong opponent of a strong advocate, I should say, of us allowing the cameras in the courtroom, so we can see, because we used to be able to rely on legacy media to provide us with the information of what's happening in these court cases, but because they're so hell-bent on their narrative being shown, that they ignore the facts that are actually being presented in the courtroom. And it's important for us to be able to see these cases, so we can understand why did the jury act this way? Why did the jury? Why did they side with this as the verdict? And by seeing that, and having it explained to us by these law tubers, we get a better understanding. So, I like LawTube. I hope LawTube continues because of the fact that it really lets you know where you are with your rights and these cases and how they'll proceed. One of the biggest things I remember is with, what trial was it? The Rittenhouse trial. And one of the first things that got me was how the lawyer was like saying something, and they were like, "Oh, I apologize, lawyer. Your Honor, I said this wrong. I meant this." And the judge was like, "Okay." And how like first thing Nick had to say is like how like that does happen. When you have these lawyers up on the stand and they're stuttering and they're not speaking so eloquently, because that is, it's not like an episode of Law and Order or LA Law where it's all nice and smooth and there's a gotcha moment. There are no gotcha moments in real life. And what I've discovered is that there's such a thing called discovery. And especially if you have discovery, that way you understand why I was like that, what didn't get in and what gets in and what doesn't. Okay guys, I'm gonna start my time-lapse video so I can hopefully have that done by the time the games start. So you guys have a great day, and to quote Aussie Overlord, he said it on Friday, on Fridays, or in Legal Vices show, have a cup of concrete and harden the fuck up. I like that. I would use that, but me, I look at it as life is stressful. Just take it all one dot at a time.